Thanks very much. Alongside Keegan Matheson, Toronto Blue Jays reporter for MLB.com and the host of OverDrive on TSN, Bryan Hayes. And guys, a stunning afternoon of baseball here at Rogers Centre. You've got Trey Savage delivering the greatest pitching performance in Blue Jays playoff history. You've got Vlad Guerrero hitting the first grand slam in Blue Jays playoff history. And this place was absolutely delirious. Hayes, can you think of a team that's been able to whip their fan base into a frenzy quite like the Blue Jays have these last two games?
I can't. I have never experienced anything like this. Watching and covering Toronto sports teams in the playoffs throughout my life, and certainly for the last 15 years at TSN, this was a completely uncharted territory for Toronto sports fans. It was relaxed. It was jubilant. It felt almost like we were at a music festival the last two nights, not only tonight, but also in Game 1. And it was as if 50,000 people arrived and their favorite bands were going up, and every song that was being played was better than the last. It just kept getting better and better and better. It was incredibly relaxed. I've never experienced anything like this. Again, Toronto sports fans not used to this. They will likely wake up tomorrow and realize you got to get to 3, revert back to the usual temperament. But the last two nights, what the Blue Jays supplied their fans, it was truly an incredible experience.
And it all began with Trey Savage, who comes in here in his playoff debut, goes 5 1/3, 11 Ks, no hits, Keegan. A lot has been expected of this young man. Could you ever have imagined that he would be able to deliver a performance like he did in his debut in the postseason?
Never. John Schneider said he didn't even speak to this guy in spring training. He was not on the roster. He was 5 levels below where the Blue Jays are right now. His season is one of the most remarkable stories I've ever covered in this city. And this performance was, I think, the best pitching performance that I've seen live. Given the moment, given what he did to these Yankees hitters, making them look foolish with that splitter. These were not just strikeouts. You could have tripled the size of that ball. They're missing it. Absolutely dominant, and in front of this crowd at 22 years old, I don't know who else can do that at 22. Not me, not a lot of pro baseball players. Fantastic.
Well, top of the 6th inning, Savage gets the first out, and then John Schneider makes his move from the dugout to the mound. And Bryan, you were apoplectic as soon as you saw Schneider go give him the hook. What did you think of the decision to remove Savage after 78 pitches?
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it in the moment. I could not believe it throughout the rest of the game as well. When they went to the bullpen and then all of a sudden the Yankees start to rally, start producing some hits, start producing some runs. But maybe I'm getting soft, right? Maybe I'm buying into the sappiness of what this Blue Jay story is right now. Listening to Savage and Schneider after the game, but Savage in particular, say what he'll remember from this was the ability to walk off the field and have the crowd notice him. And he goes for the curtain call, something that George Springer in particular was pushing, but I think the whole dugout was. And I mentioned this yesterday leading up to Game 2. This was about protecting a young star, right? He's not quite a star yet, but I think they hope he'll get there, maybe a superstar. Who knows? We'll see. But they put him in the perfect position to protect him, winning Game 1, pitching him at home for Game 2. They continue that tonight. Get him out before he faces the top of the order a third straight time. Yes, the analytics kicked in a little bit. In the moment, I wasn't happy. No hitter. I wanted to see it continue to happen. But after the game, you realize why, and clearly they protected him, and it was a magical moment, magical night for Savage.
You were worried for good reason because the bullpen did come in and they did give up a few runs, but luckily the Blue Jays did have lots of run support, none bigger than the grand slam from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Keegan, we've talked about this, how Blue Jays legends have that playoff moment. You take Joe Carter's home run, you take Jose Bautista's bat flip, and then Vladdy kind of does the mashup of both of them together. What has been your impression of playoff Vladdy?
Biggest moment of his career. I know we said that yesterday, but this still counts. And I've covered Vladdy's whole career. I've seen him as a fresh-faced kid down in Dunedin. This is the moment I've waited 10 years to see from Vladdy. This is who he is supposed to be, someone who can change a franchise. He's been good, but being good in the regular season, a lot of guys do that. It doesn't excite me all that much. Moments like these make you last forever in a city, and Vladdy owns this town right now. He can own this country really quickly with a few more wins like this, but now he has that moment, a grand slam in the postseason, out to left field where Bautistas went, where Encarnacion's went. What a moment for him. He's rising to this occasion right now, and he's finally showing he has that extra gear.
Unbelievable 2 games for Vladdy, but you don't score 23 runs over 2 nights unless there's more to the picture than just Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Ernie Clement got the party started tonight with a 2-run home run in the second. Dalton Varsho had 2 home runs, 2 doubles. Right, it's almost like that's being lost in the shuffle in a way, the night that Dalton Varsho had. They have had big hit after big hit after big hit against the New York Yankees. It's been Vladdy at the forefront, but everyone's following suit.
And that's the backdrop to all of this, right? They're doing it against the New York freaking Yankees, the team that was pushing them for the division title all the way down the stretch in the final weeks of the season. Whatever adjustments the Yankees made between Game 1 and Game 2 obviously didn't work. Keegan, this series now shifts to the Bronx. What could the Yankees possibly do, or what could the Jays expect now that they're going back to New York for Game 3?
It's going to be a hostile environment, but lots of anxiety if you're the Yankees. New York is not used to Toronto being the front runner. New York is used to being big brother in this division, and Yankees fans, my goodness, are used to that. Not little old Toronto coming up on their heels. This is where it's at right now, though. That is going to be a loud, angry environment. If the Blue Jays go up early, it's going to get louder and angrier. We are going to hear some chants we probably did not see here that we probably cannot repeat. It's going to be an amazing environment. But wow, they're up against the wall.
They really are. Aaron Boone, he better figure this out, right? He gets a ton of heat in New York. He better find a way to get a win for his team or help his team, put them in a position to find a win on Tuesday night. And the second Aaron, again, better show up. He's had some hits, but the games have been over, right? The games have been over. He obviously didn't look great in right field at times tonight. He better show up in New York. So the two Aarons in particular, I think, is probably who the Blue Jays are wondering how they're going to adjust moving into this Game 3. But if you're the Blue Jays, you're flying down there with a ton of confidence.
And if you're the Yankees, just an epic beatdown. The Yankees give up 10-plus runs in back-to-back games in the playoffs for the first time ever, as the Toronto Blue Jays now take a 2-0 series lead to New York.